Thanks for sticking around. This is Elevated Radio FM with another guest on the phone from Toronto, Ontario. She is the owner of Hypno Healing Institute, Debbie Papadakis. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me, CJ, and thanks for inviting me to your show. And I would like to say hello to everyone in the world.
Well, I'm happy you decided to come on, Debbie, and we are eager to learn about the art of hypnosis. Now, what is it exactly that a hypnotist does?
What a hypnotist does helps people to transform, to change, to balance, to whatever you want to call it, our inner thinking, our inner patterns, our inner negative beliefs, emotions, limiting beliefs, emotions, to transform our lives by changing our thinking.
Yeah. Now, before I ask the hows, let me ask the why. Why did you get into hypnosis?
Why did I get into hypnosis? That's a very long story, but it was many years ago. I'm doing this work for at least 25 years plus. As a child, I was always interested in to know the difference between why somebody's more successful than others, why somebody's healthier than others. I was always on the why, and I believed the answers were in the mind. I'm from Greece originally, so in Greece you study even the grade 1, grade 2, you study about Plato, and that's how you learn how to read and write. So I used to read all these philosophers, and there were some of the questions and answers were there. So I got very interested in this idea about the thinking, the mind, the beliefs, the emotions, from a very young age. So that was the seeds that was planted on me many, many years ago when I was a kid. So when I grew up, again, I continued my search, trying to figure out what was happening and why my life at that point wasn't as I wished to have it. And I had studied at one of the colleges here. Believe it or not, I had studied some computers and psychology and all that. Then I entered a school of learning psychotherapy. But I was looking for faster answers. And that's where hypnosis came up. And from the day I was introduced to that, I am a fan of it.
Now, what are you seeing? Talk to me about your clients. Who is coming in and for what reasons?
The clients who come in to me, first of all, I'm a psychotherapist also, not just hypnotherapist, okay? So because I'm a registered psychotherapist, I work with mental illnesses, I work with people with depression, anxieties. That's the basic thing in my work. Of course, relationship, of course, sleep issues. Yes, we have the smoking and the weight and all this other stuff, but I'm really working with a very deep seated issue. People who are blocked. They wanted to do something, but they cannot do it. There is some blockage inside of them that holds them from becoming who they meant to become, and then they struggle with all kinds of emotions. So people who don't want to take any more medication, and some people have to, of course, but so if you are in this area where you can change your thinking, we can do that through hypnotherapy. And, of course, I combine psychotherapy and hypnotherapy together to make everything more faster and stronger and more deeper to clear up some deep issues. And then many years ago, I started also teaching hypnotherapy to other people, too.
Now, I understand it works with the subconscious. Now,
yes.
Why is it important to communicate with the subconscious? Why is it difficult for people to just make a change and stick with it?
Because, okay, I'm going to ask you to think of 3 plates. One big plate, middle plate, and little plate. Can you think of that? Now, the bigger plate, we call it the conscious. And then we have the middle of that is the subconscious, and the really middle one, the little one, is the unconscious. The conscious is all our thoughts. Our thoughts, our logic, our analysis. If I put one word there, I put the thinking, the thoughts. The middle of that will be the subconscious, which holds all the emotions and feelings, the anger, the sadness, the hurt, the pain. Also holds on to the beliefs. I'm good enough, I'm not good enough. I can make this or I cannot make this. I'm worth it or I'm not. Whatever the beliefs are. And then the unconscious, which is the middle part, is the part that's the part of the body controls itself. In other words, your eyelids are blinking. Right now you're sitting here and your stomach digests your food, and also has the reactions. In other words, if I for many years the phone rings and I answer without thinking, that's a behavior. That's an automatic behavior. So if somebody has a negative thinking, or think of their mother, and they love their mother, right? So the thinking of the mother will be at the conscious, the love will come at the subconscious, and the positive feeling will come at the unconscious. But at the same time, if you think of something negative, if you think of a person you hate, so the minute you think of that person or you hear their name or you think about them, the negative emotion of anger or sadness or hurt or whatever it is will pop up automatically. And at the unconscious level, we will have the negative emotion will pop up. Well, if the negative emotion will pop up, automatically we're going into dropping our body, our power, our senses. A negativity pops up and the body goes into restriction. If we go into love, we become more open. And that's how illness is in reality created, because if we stay too much on the negative, we put that pressure into the system, and then the pressure at some point has to give in, and then we become sick.
Right.
I'm not sure if I explained it well, but...
Oh, you sure did. Yeah. Now, we don't have too much time left here, Debbie, but I do want to ask, what are the plans you have for the future, not only as a hypnotist, but as a business owner? What's on the agenda?
My plans for the future? Well, at this time of my life, I've done it more than 25 years, private therapy, and also I've done many classes. In fact, very soon, in another week or so, I'm going to teach my 83rd hypnosis class. And in other words, 83 times I taught this class, 82 times I taught this class. So my plans is right now I'm writing a book which is going to transform the world. The book is on the relationship code, because then through these 25 years of work, I discovered certain techniques how to help people to heal their relationships. And a lot of us were suffering from relationships. That can be the relationship with your child, with your partner, with your environment, with your food, with anything. So if we can have, through some techniques, to reverse these emotions, feelings, and beliefs and create more peaceful relationship with ourselves, that would be a gift to the world. So I'm going to work on this, and basically a lot of the work is done, go and heal the relationship with the mother and father and childhood, things like that. And I do believe my book is going to go all over, and I'm going to be talking about it, and the focus is going to be on the relationship issues, which not only the intimate relationships, but relationship with everybody. Can you imagine if we had a great relationships with everybody, including the most important one, ourselves? And if I have a great relationship with myself, then I will have a great relationship with the whole world. And that's how we can change the world. That's how we can change the world, not by fighting and by having wars, but by sending love to ourselves and then to the world.
I couldn't agree more with you there, Debbie. And for our listeners who may want to work with you or even just ask questions, how would they be able to reach out?
Well, my phone number is 416-760-8996. My website is www.hypno-healing.com, or they can go and Google Debbie Papadakis, and all the answers will be there.
Fantastic. And at that, we will take a short break. Debbie, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you to our listeners. This is Elevated Radio. Another interview coming up next. Stay tuned.
You're locked into Elevated Radio FM. Radio FM. Radio.